All right, this is lesson 3-2, essential question. I can solve addition and subtraction equations. Vocabulary, solve means to find the value of a variable. So I'm just going to say a solution would be something like t equals 8. Today, all of your answers should look like that. A letter equals a variable or a number, and a number equals that variable. Inverse operation, think of inverse as reverse or the opposite operation. So to undo, when you add something, you would subtract it. If you were going to undo subtraction, you would add that. All right, we're going to go back and remember yesterday when we wrote expressions or equations to match phrases. So it says 3 times Jack's age is 33. 3 times Jack's age, so I'm going to say 3 times, and we'll call Jack's age a J. Is means equals, so that's equal to 33. 8 years younger than Jenna. We're going to take Jenna, we're going to subtract 8, and that would be 8 years younger than Jenna. This is not equal to anything, so it's just an expression. 72 players divided equally is 8 teams. 72, we're going to divide it equally. We don't know how many groups, so we're going to call that E. Is means equals 8. All right, so today we're solving addition and subtraction equations, and here's an example of a simple one like the mental math ones you did back in chapter 1. So here it says 4 plus 6, or 4 plus r equals 6. R then will be equal to 2 because 4 plus 2 equals 6. You can just see that looking at these problems, but we can't see them in all the ones we're going to go through today. So I'm going to show you how we're going to use inverse operations to solve them. All right, so here we're going to start with this example here. R plus 13 equals 29. I'm looking at the R and saying I added 13 to it, and then I got 29. So if I go from 29 and I do the opposite, minus 13, I would get what R is. So that shows me that my R would be 16. Let me show you how I do that in a very organized way. I use train tracks, so let me just erase that. All right, so I separate my two sides of my equal sign so that I can see what's on the left and what's on the right. I find my variable, and I look for the operation going on with my variable because I want to get rid of it. I want to undo that. So to undo plus 13, I'm going to subtract 13. That undoes it. It's gone. However, if I take it off of one side, think of it as a scale or a balance. I have to take it off of the other side. So there I've got minus 13 on both sides. On the left side, I still have the letter R, and on the right side, I'm going to do that problem. So I have 16 left over. Now at the end, I'm not quite done. I'm going to check my work. I'm going to put 16 in where the R was, and then I'm going to subtract 13, or sorry, I'm going to add 13, and I get 29. As long as I get the same answer that's over here, I know I did it right. All right, let's do another one. Here this looks a little bit backwards, but I'm still going to circle my variable and say I've got x added with 7. So I'm going to do the opposite of plus 7, which is minus 7. And it's okay to go backwards when you have addition because addition can be in any order. I could have rewritten this as x plus 7 and it would mean the same thing. So these 7's cancel out, and 10 minus 7 equals 3. On the right-hand side, I just have x left. Check my work. 7 plus 3, it does equal 10. So I'm good to go. The last one. I'm going to do the opposite of plus 22, which is minus 22, to both sides. On the left-hand side, it cancels out, and I have s left over. On the right-hand side, I have 6. I'll check it. 6 plus 22 is 28. Try these problems. Pause the video. Okay. Here are your answers. R equals 18. 7 equals x, or x equals 7. S equals 10. Let's try some subtraction equations. So here again you can see a picture, and this is a mental math equation where we know that the question mark, or the D, is equal to 8 because 8 minus 3 equals 5. And we maybe were able to come up with that right away in our heads. But now we're going to try some with bigger numbers where we need to use that inverse operation again. All right, so I'm going to start with my train tracks. And I'm going to do the opposite of what I see is happening to the R. So I see that it's subtracting 13, so I'm going to do the opposite, and I'm going to add 13 to both sides. Okay? So when I add 13, on the left-hand side, they cancel out. When I add 13 on the right-hand side, I get 40. Let's check my work. Is 40 minus 13 equal to 27? It sure is. Let's do the next problem. So again, I see my C, and I'm going to do the opposite of minus 18. The opposite is plus 18. So I'm going to add 18 to both sides. On the left-hand side, I get 29. On the right-hand side, C is all by itself because those 18s canceled out. And let's check. Is 29 minus 18 equal to 11? It sure is. All right. F is subtracting 3 from it, so we're going to do the opposite and add 3 to both sides. The 3's cancel out on the right side. On the left side, I get 35. Let's check our solution by plugging in 35 where the F was. 35 minus 3 equals 32. Very good. Try these problems. Go ahead and pause the video. Okay. Here are your solutions. R equals 34, 9 equals C, or C equals 9, 47 equals F, or F equals 47. You should be checking your work as you go. Let's do a few harder questions. So these are examples with integers and decimals. All right, so same process. I'm going to draw my train tracks. I'm going to look for my variable and say what's happening. I'm subtracting 9. I'm going to do the opposite and add 9. This time I'm taking negative 3 plus 9. And remember, same signs, add and keep, different signs, subtract. These are different signs, so I'm going to subtract them. Keep the sign of the higher number, then you'll be exact. The higher number is positive, so my answer is K equals 6. Let's check. Is 6 take away 9, negative 3? It is. Let's do a decimal problem. All right, I have the letter P. I have it added to 3.1, so I'm going to do the opposite and subtract 3.1 from both sides. When I'm working with decimals, I want to line up the decimal point. 18 and 18.0 is the very same thing. So I'm going to subtract. I need to borrow. That's 9. 14.9. P is equal to 14.9. To speed things up, I'm going to go along without doing my checks, but I'm risking having a wrong answer when I don't do that. All right, here I've got W, take away 3.7. So I'm going to do the opposite and add 3.7 to both sides. Remember, I'm lining up my decimal points. Okay, so I'm going to put a 0 in to hold place value there, and I am adding. So I have 3, 13, add my decimal point down there, and 8. W is equal to 8.33, or 8 33/100ths. And the last one, N is being added to negative 9, so I'm going to subtract negative 9. What's another way of saying minus negative 9? Would just be plus 9. So I'm going to add 9 to this, and that's 22. N is equal to 22. Or 22 is equal to N. Try these problems. Pause the video. All right, here are your solutions. When you subtract 11 from both sides, S is equal to 12. When you add 8 to both sides, 19 is equal to M. Here's one with a decimal. I should subtract 7.2, and G is equal to 1.9. And for the last one, I'm adding 40 to both sides. So J is equal to 34. All right. If you totally get this, you can stop the video now, but I'm going to do 4 more examples just to make sure that you completely understand. So with these 4 examples, I'm just drawing my train tracks. My very first step is I like to circle my variable. That way it's really obvious for me to see the sign and the number next to it. So I see the sign is plus, so I'm going to write a minus, and the number next to it is 6, so I'm going to minus 6. Okay, do that to both sides. And on the other side, I have a math problem left. So I'm going to subtract, and I get 65. All right, the next one. I'm going to circle my variable. What's left is plus 9. The opposite is minus 9. Minus 9 from this side. So here those two cancel out. And on this side, when I subtract 9, I get 13. Y equals 13. Moving along, I'm going to circle my variable. I see that minus 7 is left over, so I'm going to do the opposite and add 7 to both sides. On the right-hand side, it cancels out. On the left-hand side, I get 37. And the last one, I'm going to circle my variable. I see minus 12 is there, so I'm going to do the opposite, plus 12. Add 12 to both sides. H is equal to 102. Now for this one, I'm going to walk you through how to check your answer. So I'm just going to write that up above it. So when you're stuck and you say, how do I check this answer? See this? It's saying H is 102. So instead of having the H, I'm going to write 102 in its place. And then I'm going to say minus 12. I'm going to do this math problem. And if my answer matches, then I know that I got that answer correct. All right, don't forget to do your NICU check. Have a great day.